I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm an executive job search and leadership coach, the head coach for job search coachinghq.com. That's a site with curated information you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find work more quickly. Now, when I work with senior professionals, one of the questions they always ask is, how do I get contacted by executive search firms? I want to be clear, some coaches, some resume writers define executive as being over $100,000. Wrong. That's not a real executive. That tends to be a manager. We're talking about $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year positions, roles running major lines of business. We're not talking about a senior manager or a director. We're talking about real executive search. So how do you get found by these people? And the answer starts off with, when you've been doing hiring, your firm has retained the services of one of the retained executive search firms as part of the process, so they've gotten to know you and have a sense of your capabilities. You haven't acted like an imbecile during those times. You haven't been disrespectful. You've worked in a professional manner with these firms. That gets you on their radar. When positions open up, they think of you, because after all, that firm is not going to be a client forever, are they? They all have agreements that specify that they can't contact employees of that firm for a particular period of time. They'll respect that, but after that time is over, they can reach out to you. So I'll start off with the premise that you want to have a relationship with the firm from a previous engagement that they've done for your organization. Number two is, you've got a good network of people who know, like, trust, respect, and look out for you. Because after all, networking is the primary way that people find work. A retained firm may reach out to someone and ask, who do you know who? I'm doing a search for so-and-so. They're looking for someone with this background. Do you know someone? Can you introduce me to someone? And you want to have your network always thinking of you. It's why networking is not about transactions. It's about the long-term relationship you have with other people over the course of time. The people that you've worked with, the people who you've met at other functions, where you've spoken, because after all, being a speaker is a way that you become visible, so that others think of you as the expert, right? So your network is a big part of this. Next is, and I just alluded to it, be easy to find and contact. If you're not visible online, if someone can't Google you and find you, and I'm not just simply talking about a LinkedIn profile, if they can't Google you and find out something about you, you're invisible. LinkedIn is not sufficient, although it can be a starting place for some people in some searches. After all, even the retained search firms use LinkedIn these days because it's a shortcut as a starting place for doing their networking. So have a great profile that clearly defines who you are and what you do. So in this way, as firms contact you, you can respond accordingly based upon your need. Always be courteous, always be respectful. Talk with them in detail and ask great questions about the role. Remember, the person who gets ahead isn't always the smartest or work the hardest. Well, those are great qualities to have. People get ahead by being alert to opportunity. Sometimes they're internal to the organization. More often than not, they're external. And if a search firm, again, I'm not talking contingency. I'm talking a retained search firm reaches out to you. Be courteous, respectful, demonstrate how your background fits, understand what the role and responsibilities are, the scope, and thus whether or not this might be of interest. Always keep the focus on what they need to know if they reach out to you. And as part of that, be interesting. Be interesting to them. Don't just sound like another robot answering their questions. Have a personality. If it's not right for you, refer them to someone. That's something that they appreciate. I know when I worked in search, that's something that I always appreciated. And as such, always share. Give more, get more. It is true. Last thing I'm going to bring to your attention is they're not looking for potential. They're looking for actual experience because their job is to mitigate risk for their client. And as such, if their client wanted to hire someone who had the potential to step into this job, well, there's a lot of people with the potential to step into the job, including people internally. Their job is to find someone who has done this job elsewhere. It's easier to do the lateral movement of bringing someone from one organization and plunking them into another organization and in a similar role. It's not identical, it's similar because every culture and all the personalities there are different. So understanding that their job is to find a square peg for a square hole, your job is to demonstrate how your background fits and how, as such, hiring you limits the firm's risk. Again, you need to be visible. Your network has to be substantial and think well of you. You have to be top of mind, and that involves staying in contact with people. I mentioned the LinkedIn profile just because it's like everyone's database these days. Everyone's paying for a LinkedIn recruiter account so they can search the entire database of LinkedIn. It's their launch point. It's not their destination. And the last thing I want to mention is, and I alluded to it before, be interesting. Have a personality. Stand out. Don't be another person who's like homogenized, square peg, boring. I use square peg for square hole only in the terms of fit, not in terms of personality. Leaders lead. And to lead, it's not just simply about what you know, it's how you inspire people. And as such, your personality has to come out for them to really be interested in you. So hope you found this helpful. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. If you're interested in my help with a search, and I'm talking about this not from the standpoint of hiring people, but helping you with your search, reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw the video because I like knowing that I'm helping some folks. Once we're connected, message that you're interested in coaching. We'll set up time for a free discovery call and get acquainted. If I can't help, I'm not going to take on the engagement, but I tend to help almost everyone. Hope you have a terrific day and look forward to helping you. Take care.